Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Algebra. And last episode, I introduced the new concept of polynomials to class, which are just things with variables and coefficients, which we've been seeing already throughout class, and we just didn't name them polynomials yet. Well, now we're going to do our first thing with polynomials, which is adding them, and that's the easiest one to do. Now, when I say adding, I also mean subtracting. Oftentimes in math, when they say add these two things, that means if there's a plus sign or a minus sign in between them, that still is encompassed in adding, which is kind of weird to think about because we've always thought of them as separate things. But once you get into higher level math, they're kind of smushed together into one specific term, which is addition. So we're going to start off with an example, a really nice basic one. We've got x plus 3 plus x minus 5. Those are two different polynomials, and we're going to add them together. Now, when we add polynomials, you're going to want to make sure that you add the terms that have the same like terms. So the like terms that we've been adding earlier on, you're going to add the like terms together. So in this problem here, that means our x's are going to be added together and our just regular old numbers are going to be added. And then we're going to write them in what's called descending order. So the highest exponent goes first, and then you just go down the list. So in this one here, we've got x plus x. So I'm going to flip it over here real quick, which would give us 2x. There you go. And then 3 plus minus 5, that's negative 2. And then here we go, there's our answer. We've added those two polynomials together, and so we got 2x minus 2 as our final answer. Pretty simple. Now, I've got another example here, and still adding, that is a little bit more complex. Here we go, we've got x to the fifth plus x to the third minus 2x plus 6 plus, what's 6? Yes, it's a 6. Okay, my writing with markers is not that great. Plus x to the fourth minus 3x to the third plus 2x squared plus 6x minus 6. Now the difference with this one is one, we've got much longer polynomials here, right? We've got several different variables in there. The other thing, though, is that some of the variables in this one don't appear in this one, and some of the ones that are in here don't appear in here. So what do we do then if they don't match up? Well, it's just like adding 0 to those things. So for instance, x to the fifth appears in our first polynomial, but it doesn't appear in our second one. So it's really x to the fifth plus 0, because there is no x to the fifth in that one. So that x to the fifth will still be in the answer. It's not going to change because there's nothing to add to it. So let's begin. We're just going to start at the highest possible exponent, and in that case, it's our x to the fifth. So our first part of our answer is going to be x to the fifth. So there we go. That's the first part of our answer right there underneath our problem. So then for the next one, we're just going to go to the next highest exponent, which is the x to the fourth, which you see in the second one here. There isn't any one in the first one, but there is an x to the fourth here, and it's positive. So we can write plus x to the fourth. And there you go. We've got x to the fifth plus x to the fourth so far. Now here's our first one where we're actually going to be able to do some adding. We've got x to the third in both the first term, the first polynomial, and in the second one. So x to the third plus, because that's what we're doing, we're adding them, negative 3x to the third. So it's actually going to be x to the third minus 3x to the third. And that's 2x to the third. So that's going to pop up there. So we've got x to the fifth plus x to the fourth minus 2x to the third. That's our next part. Let's keep going. So now, do we have an x squared term? We do in our second polynomial, but not in our first. So that second one is going to pop up in there. It's a plus 2x squared. And then we've got our x terms, negative 2x plus 6x. So negative 2x plus 6x, that's 4x. And then we've got 6 plus minus 6, which is 0. So we could add a plus 0 onto the end here, but we don't really need to because it goes away. So now our answer here is x to the fifth plus x to the fourth minus 2x to the third plus 2x squared plus 4x plus 0. And that's our final answer. Now there's a few other things that when we're adding polynomials that some students have some trouble with, and I'm going to show you an example of that real quick. So we make sure we nip it in the butt right away here while we're still learning. So let's say we had a polynomial equation like this. Let me just make one up here real quick. All right, so here's our polynomial equation. We've got x plus 6 minus x minus 6. Now remember, this is still part of adding because subtraction and adding go together. And here's our issue here. Because this minus sign is here, oftentimes students don't really know what to do, or they'll kind of forget about it. And so they'll end up adding, or they'll subtract, but they'll only subtract the first one, they won't subtract this one. There's lots of different things that people will do that's not correct. So here's what I'm going to tell you to do when you see a minus sign in your polynomial math things. I want you to distribute this like it's a minus 1. So we're going to distribute like we would in any other problem. And then it becomes a more standard problem. See, we've got x plus 6 minus x plus 6, right? Negative 1 times x is negative x, and negative 1 times negative 6 is plus 6. And now you can't make any mistakes because it's all one line. There's no more parentheses in there to screw you up, and you're going to be ready to go. So you can finish this problem off really easy. X minus x is 0, 6 plus 6 is 12, and so that's the final answer. So whenever you see a minus sign in these polynomial addition equations in between the polynomials, you should treat that as a negative 1 and you should distribute it. And that's going to make it 1, an addition problem, which will be easier, and 2, it'll make it so that you don't get your signs mixed up. So you can deal with all the sign stuff right away at the beginning, and then it's done. You don't have to worry about it afterwards. That's my major concern going forward with adding and subtracting polynomials for new students of algebra. Thank you so much for watching another episode of Algebra. In the next episode, we're going to talk about multiplying polynomials, which is a little bit different than adding them, obviously. And then we'll keep going on from there. Thanks again for watching. Hope to see you in the next episode.